I was standing by the coffee machine when I overheard Veronica's voice from the break room. You know she only got that promotion because she's sleeping with Marcus, right? My hand froze mid-pour, coffee spilling onto the counter. It's so obvious. No way someone goes from junior analyst to team lead that fast without special favors. The laughter that followed made my stomach turn. I'd spent 2 years working overtime, sacrificing weekends, and leading 3 major projects that saved the company millions. Yet in 10 seconds, Veronica had reduced all my hard work to a sleazy office affair that never happened. I quietly finished making my coffee and walked back to my desk, smiling at colleagues who suddenly couldn't meet my eyes. Some whispered as I passed. Others just stared at their screens. 3 weeks earlier, they'd congratulated me with high fives and genuine smiles. Now I was office pariah, all because one jealous coworker couldn't handle my success. But instead of confronting Veronica, I did something better. I opened my Amazon order history and purchased a small voice recorder that arrived the next day. I didn't need to fight rumors with rumors. I just needed evidence. And when the annual company awards ceremony rolled around with Veronica smugly accepting Employee of the Year for her exceptional integrity, I was ready. The look on her face when I played that recording through the conference room speakers? Absolutely priceless. Updated. Thanks for all the support, guys. Never expected this to blow up overnight. Several people asked if recording someone without consent is legal in my state. It is as long as one party consents. Me. Also, for those suggesting I should have just gone to HR immediately, would you really trust HR with a he said, she said situation? Be honest, would you? I'd been working at Axiom Analytics for nearly 4 years when this all went down. Started as an entry-level data analyst straight out of grad school, working my way up through sheer determination and a slightly concerning coffee addiction. I'm talking 60-hour weeks, learning new programming languages on weekends, and answering emails at 2 a.m. during critical project launches. This wasn't just a job to me. It was my career, my future. Veronica joined about a year after me, with the same title but somehow always managing to leave precisely at 5 p.m. while taking 2-hour lunches. She was good at one thing, though: office politics, always complimenting the right executives, bringing homemade cookies to department meetings, and somehow getting her name attached to successful projects she barely contributed to. We were never friends, but we were cordial, or so I thought. Looking back, there were signs. The backhanded compliments. That presentation was actually good. The subtle undermining in meetings. While her approach is interesting, I think we should consider something more proven. The way she'd position herself next to our boss, Marcus, at every company happy hour, laughing too hard at his barely funny jokes. None of that bothered me because my work spoke for itself. I'd spearheaded a predictive analytics model that cut customer churn by 37% and automated reporting processes that saved roughly 50 work hours per week across departments. My performance reviews were stellar, and I'd earned the respect of our VP of operations, who specifically requested me for high-priority projects. So when the team lead position opened up after Rachel left for maternity leave, I wasn't surprised to get it, just proud and ready for the challenge. The announcement came during our Monday morning huddle. Marcus praised my exceptional contributions and leadership potential. Most colleagues seemed genuinely happy for me, congratulating me with fist bumps and promises of celebratory drinks. Veronica hugged me so tightly it felt like she was trying to break my ribs. "You deserve this," she whispered, with a smile that didn't reach her eyes. The mood shift happened gradually. First, it was just Rick from accounting canceling our lunch plans. Then Jasmine stopped sharing memes in our usual Slack channel. By week 2, people were taking different routes to avoid passing my desk. The whispers would stop when I entered. The break room, replaced with awkward small talk about the weather or the eternally broken printer on the 3rd floor. It was like being back in high school, except everyone had better clothes and more student debt. I couldn't figure out what was happening until Tara, the receptionist who witnessed everything behind her seemingly innocent desk plant, pulled me aside near the bathrooms. "I thought you should know," she said quietly, checking to make sure we were alone. "Veronica's been telling everyone you've been involved with Marcus for months. That's why you got the promotion instead of her." My cheeks burned with humiliation and rage. Marcus was 52, married with 3 kids, and honestly, not even remotely attractive with his perpetual sweaty forehead and collection of Transformers ties. More importantly, I'd earned that damn promotion with brain power and dedication, not bedroom skills. "That's ridiculous," I sputtered. I know," Tara interrupted, "but she's been very convincing. Talking about late-night meetings and how you two always leave within minutes of each other. She even said she saw texts on your phone. The real kicker? Marcus and I had stayed late several times to finish the Anderson project proposal that saved the company from losing their biggest client. And yes, sometimes we left around the same Time because he'd offer me a ride to the subway station when it was raining. Professional courtesy, not office romance. But Veronica had twisted these normal workplace interactions into something sordid, and people were buying it. I could have stormed into HR, but what proof did I have? My word against hers, and she had already poisoned the well. I could have confronted her directly, but that would just make me look defensive. No, I needed to be smarter. I needed irrefutable evidence. So I started carrying that little voice recorder. Everywhere. In meetings, to lunch, even to the bathroom. Turned off, obviously. I'm not a complete creep. I began arriving earlier, staying later, positioning myself near Veronica's usual gossip spots. For 3 weeks, nothing substantial. She was careful, always checking who was around before speaking. But then came my lucky break. Friday afternoon, most people had left early for the weekend. I was finishing up a report when I spotted Veronica in the conference room with Drew from sales. The door was partly open. I casually walked by, pretending to head to the printer nearby, and hit record on the device in my pocket. Can't believe people actually bought it, Veronica was saying, her voice smug with satisfaction. But you know how it is. People always assume women sleep their way to the top. But wasn't Rachel promoted the same way? Drew asked. And she definitely wasn't sleeping with anyone here. Yeah, but she had like 10 years of experience, Veronica scoffed. This girl just waltzes in with her fancy algorithms and suddenly she's my boss? Please. So, you just made it all up? The texts, the late nights, everything? Drew sounded uncomfortable now. Well, they did work late sometimes, Veronica admitted. But the rest? Total bullshit. I needed to take her down a peg. She thinks she's so special with her data models and her ideas. Someone needed to remind her how the real world works. Isn't that kind of, I don't know, wrong? What if HR finds out? Veronica laughed. A cold, sharp sound that made my skin crawl. They won't. It's just office gossip. Besides, the damage is done. Everyone looks at her differently now. Even if she proves nothing happened, people will always wonder. That's how rumors work, Drew. The truth doesn't actually matter. I stood there, heart pounding so loudly I was afraid they'd hear it. I had her. I had the confession. But instead of feeling triumphant, I felt sick. This woman had deliberately tried to destroy my reputation, my career, everything I'd worked for, and she was proud of it. I quietly walked back to my desk, saved my recording, and made 3 backup copies, one on my phone, one on my home computer, and one emailed to my personal account. Then I waited. Because timing, as they say, is everything. The following week, Marcus announced our annual company awards ceremony would be held on Friday. Axiom wasn't huge on corporate traditions, but this particular event was a big deal. Partly because it came with actual cash bonuses, and partly because it was the one time a year we got open bar and decent catering instead of lukewarm pizza. Throughout the week, I noticed Veronica was unusually friendly with the executive team, staying late for special projects and taking private calls that left her looking smug. I had a sinking feeling about what was coming, but I kept my composure. Thursday night, I prepared everything I needed. Friday morning, I dressed with extra care. My best navy blazer, crisp white shirt, and the red lipstick I usually saved for client meetings. Battle armor. The ceremony started at 3 p.m. in our largest conference room, now decorated with company banners and those sad metallic balloons that slowly deflate over time, much like employee morale after performance reviews. We sat through the usual awards, most sales conversions, Drew, Innovation Champion, Raj from Engineering, and Customer Service Excellence, the entire support team, because apparently they couldn't decide on just one person. Then came the big one. Employee of the Year. Our CEO, Patricia, took the podium, looking elegant and slightly terrifying as always. This year's recipient has demonstrated exceptional integrity, teamwork, and dedication to our company values, she announced, scanning the room dramatically. My stomach clenched as I saw Veronica straighten in her chair, adjusting her hair and plastering on her humblest expression, the one she practiced in bathroom mirrors when she thought no one was looking. This person has shown us all what it means to be a true Axiom team player, Patricia continued, always supporting colleagues, maintaining the highest ethical standards, and bringing people together. I almost laughed out loud at the irony. The universe had handed me the perfect opportunity on a silver platter. I am delighted to announce our Employee of the Year, Veronica Miller. Applause erupted as Veronica feigned surprise, covering her mouth with one hand while standing up. She smoothed her dress and began walking to the front, stopping to accept congratulatory handshakes along the way. I caught Marcus looking confused. Clearly, this hadn't been his decision. As Veronica reached the podium and accepted her glass, trophy and envelope containing a $5,000 bonus check, Patricia asked, "Would you like to say a few words?" "I would," Veronica gushed, her voice dripping with fake humility. I'm just so honored and surprised. I believe in building others up, not tearing them down, in creating a positive environment where everyone can thrive. I stood up, raising my hand slightly. Actually, Patricia, if I may, I've prepared a special congratulatory message for Veronica. Patricia looked surprised but nodded. Of course. I walked to the front, pulling out my phone while giving Veronica my warmest smile. She looked confused but pleased, probably assuming I was going to be gracious in defeat. I connected my phone to the AV system, thank God for those mandatory tech training sessions, and faced the room. I think actions speak louder than words when it comes to integrity and teamwork, I said cheerfully. So instead of telling you what a great colleague Veronica is, I'd like to show you. I hit play. The audio was crystal clear through the conference. Room speakers. Can't believe people actually bought it. But you know how it is. People always assume women sleep their way to the top. So, you just made it all up? The texts, the late nights, everything? Well, they did work late sometimes. But the rest, total bullshit. I needed to take her down a peg. I watched Veronica's face transform. Shock, horror, rage, panic, all cycling through in seconds. The room had gone completely silent, every eye darting between us. When the recording ended with her cold laugh and that chilling line about how the truth doesn't actually matter, I simply stopped the playback and turned to Patricia. I believe in integrity too, I said quietly. Real integrity, not the kind you perform for awards. I thought everyone should know what that actually looks like. Updated. Wow, I did not expect this many comments. To answer the most common questions. 1. Yes, I still have my job. Actually got another promotion last month. 2. No, I never confronted Veronica personally before this. Strategically, it made more sense to let her expose herself. 3. Marcus actually apologized to me for not shutting down the rumors when he first heard them. Would you have played the recording publicly or taken it privately to HR instead? The room erupted in chaos as I walked back to my seat. Patricia's face had gone from shocked to thunderous. She immediately asked everyone except the executive team, HR director, Veronica, and myself to leave the room. As people filed out, I caught glimpses of their expressions. Some looked shocked, others vindicated, and a few seemed almost disappointed, like they'd been enjoying the drama of thinking I was the office homewrecker. Veronica was hyperventilating, mascara streaming down her face as she clutched her now ironic integrity award. She recorded me without consent. That's illegal. She's trying to ruin me because she's jealous. The HR director, Janet, raised her hand to silence her. In this state, only one-party consent is required for recordings. Let's focus on the content of that recording, which clearly indicates you deliberately spread false rumors to damage a colleague's reputation. The next 2 hours were excruciating. We were separated and interviewed individually. I presented my timeline of events, additional recordings that showed the change in office behavior toward me, and text messages from colleagues canceling plans after Veronica's rumors began. Marcus was called in and looked mortified when he realized what had been said about us. His wife, who worked in accounting, was brought in as well, and she was furious, not at me, thankfully, but at the entire situation. By 7 p.m., the decision was made. Patricia personally delivered it to both of us. Veronica was terminated effective immediately, escorted to her desk to collect personal items, and then out of the building. Her award and bonus were rescinded. I received a formal apology from the company, a matching $5,000 bonus for professional conduct under duress, and a promise of a company-wide statement on Monday clarifying that the rumors were false. I drove home in a daze, emotions cycling between vindication, exhaustion, and a strange sort of emptiness. The apartment I returned to felt too quiet after such a momentous day. I kicked off my heels, poured a generous glass of the expensive whiskey I kept for special occasions, and called my sister to tell her everything. She screamed with delight when I got to the part about playing the recording, calling me a corporate ninja and demanding I come over for celebratory pancakes the next morning. The weekend passed in a blur of phone calls, supportive texts from colleagues who had witnessed the showdown, and one very apologetic email from Drew, who admitted he should have reported Veronica's behavior immediately. By Monday, I felt ready to face whatever came next. Patricia kept her word. The company-wide email was direct and unambiguous. The rumors were false, resulted from one employee's misconduct, and that employee had been terminated. Anyone continuing to spread such rumors would face disciplinary action. She also announced the formation of a new workplace culture committee to address issues of professional respect and integrity, asking for volunteers. I was the first to sign up. Walking into the office that Monday was surreal. People approached me all day, some apologizing for believing the rumors, others praising my epic takedown, a few admitting they'd suspected Veronica was lying but had been afraid to speak up. Marcus stopped by my desk with a Starbucks gift. card and an awkward but sincere apology for not addressing the situation sooner. I heard whispers, he admitted, but I thought ignoring them was the professional thing to do. I was wrong. Over the next few weeks, things slowly returned to normal. Or rather, a new normal. I threw myself into both my regular work and the Culture Committee, developing guidelines for addressing workplace rumors and conflict resolution protocols that didn't rely on just ignore it and hope it goes away. Janet from HR became an unexpected ally, admitting the company had handled similar situations poorly in the past. 3 months later, I received another promotion, this time to Director of Analytics, reporting directly to Patricia. During our one-on-one, she admitted, "We almost lost an incredible talent because of a toxic environment we allowed to fester. I won't make that mistake again." As for Veronica, LinkedIn showed she'd taken a position with a much smaller company, in another state. Sometimes I wondered if she'd learned anything, or if she was just repeating the same patterns with new victims. I hoped for the former, but suspected the latter. The voice recorder? I keep it in my desk drawer, not because I expect to need it again, but as a reminder that sometimes the best response to lies isn't more noise, but patient, strategic truth. The most surprising outcome wasn't the promotion or even the new workplace. Policies. It was the number of women, and several men, who came to me privately to share similar experiences. People who'd had their accomplishments diminished by rumors, their reputations tarnished by jealous colleagues, their career trajectories altered by whispers they couldn't fight. Our company culture committee eventually evolved into a formal mentorship program connecting people across departments and experience levels. We created an anonymous reporting system for uncomfortable workplace situations that didn't necessarily rise to the level of HR violations. And most importantly, we started talking openly about the particular challenges women face in professional environments, how often their success is attributed to factors other than their competence and hard work. Last month, at our annual award ceremony, now heavily reformed with transparent nomination processes, I received the newly created Leadership Excellence Award. As I accepted it, I thought about how differently things might have gone if I'd reacted impulsively, that day by the coffee machine. If I'd confronted Veronica directly or gone to HR without evidence or quit in frustration. Sometimes the longest game is the winning one. Sometimes patience isn't passive. It's powerfully strategic. I still hear office gossip occasionally. People are people, after all. But now when someone starts a sentence with, "You know why she really got that position?" they tend to get shut down pretty quickly by colleagues who remember what happened to the last person who played that game. Updated, just past my 1-year anniversary of the incident, as it's now known around the office. We've implemented company-wide training on professional communication and rumor management. The mentorship program now has 78 participants, and guess who applied for a job here last week? Yep, Veronica. Her application mysteriously disappeared from the system. Karma works in not-so-mysterious ways sometimes. Have you ever had to strategically wait for the perfect moment to expose someone's lies? Or do you prefer immediate confrontation?